Hello everyone, this is going to be the breakdown for Thursday's NBA slate. We got 3 games here, 4 p.m., 4 p.m., and 7 p.m. So make sure that you do put your Heat Rocket players in the late game starting 3 hours after the other two in your Garden Forward util spots, especially with DK adding back pool position eligibility. It just allows you to have maximum flexibility in order to late swap. So the first game, the Memphis Grizzlies and the Charlotte Hornets. The Grizzlies side here, so their last game, the minutes are not correct. If you look at ESPN or any other box score, these minutes are just all wrong because the Bucks, this Bucks Grizzlies game, they had the fire alarm go off and they had issues. They didn't play the fourth quarter, so it screwed up the box score. So these minutes are not correct. They did not play 33, 34, 27 minutes, but don't really know if anybody finds what the actual numbers are. Please link it down below. But looking at these numbers, certainly Ja Morant, if he's able to play 1800, it looks excellent. You're really counting on raw points here, and if you look at the overall slate, he's actually the most expensive player, and he's definitely going to get ownership. Same with every other priced up player. So Embiid, he should be in. Tobias Harris as well. So we're going to have options. Butler, he is going to play apparently for this game, but we're gonna have to wait and see the official confirmation. But Charmer is gonna look really good. Matchup is fine. Not too worried about the Hornets here, and he's the leader of this team. So 800 definitely on a 3-gamer. You have to have the main guys. Jaren Jackson 1600. He's fine as well, but he has a really low floor. He's got a ceiling, but for power forward center, I think there are better plays out there. And then with other guys, I think Anthony Melton's going to get a lot of ownership now with both guard eligibility spots. He played really well. He just filled up the stat sheet. He's that type of player. So very good for fantasy. 5,500, I think is going to be very high owned. But I don't hate it. And then a value, I guess Tyus Jones and Desmond Bane, both of them. So Tyus Jones is a very productive point guard. He has a very good assist total. He's a pass first guy, but can also rack up steals. So I think at this price, 4,400, if you really need value, he definitely looks pretty solid. But again, I think there are other better value plays. And then Desmond Bane, someone that is more shot dependent, not going to do a whole lot, especially if he's going to be starting again with Ja. He basically is a shooter. He has had some better games with peripherals, but when you're playing with Ja Morant, you're just not going to have the ball in your hands as much. But he is close to the minimum. Now, the Charlotte side, I think they're priced really well. So Terry Rozier and LaMelo Ball, they look good. LaMelo especially, 6,700. Their minutes last game, I would say they looked a little bit unappealing since the Hornets are a really young team. And maybe we'd expect them to play maybe closer to 25. But they do have some injuries, or players that are just out. Gordon Hayward, Oubre, Plumlee. So there's going to be more usage to go around. We should see some bumps, but not anything too major. So I think LaMelo again looks good. Book Night McDaniels is very good at rebounding, energy guy. So 4,900 looks to be cheap. Same with Miles Bridges, and then PJ Washington. Yeah, PJ Washington, probably the lowest guy I would go with. Just 4,400. He's also kind of a low floor, but has a very good ceiling type of player as well. Maybe they do have some lineup changes, especially without Hayward in this game. So maybe they go Bridges at the 3, PJ at the 4 or something. So we're going to have to wait and see on the lineup. Now, Toronto and Philly. This is going to be a rematch. Now, this isn't going to be the same matchup because Philly should have Embiid and Tobias Harris back in for this one. We don't know how long they're going to play, but the Raptors side, though, they still have Bertrand Boucher out, so they should be starting Precious Achiuwa. But Achiuwa is a undersized center. He is 6'8", and Embiid is 7 foot. So there could definitely be some foul trouble risk. You're working with 6 fouls here. It's not like the summer league with 10. So if there is some foul trouble, that's definitely going to be one way that Achiuwa is going to fail. But he's very cheap at 4,400. I wouldn't recommend it, but if you're trying to, predict foul trouble, you go with Gillespie. But definitely, I would like Precious Achiuwa because he has the higher upside. But just knowing the matchup, you do have to worry about foul trouble against Embiid. And other guys, though, Scotty Barnes, 6,500. He looked really good. He just seems like a very high energy player. Can do a little bit of everything. and he had a good game last time. So I'm expecting him to get some good ownership again. And the minutes, like I think Fred VanVleet, he looks a little bit cheap at 6,900 if he's going to be playing around 20 minutes. And I do have to mention about this guy. I don't know how to really pronounce it. Maybe it is Justin Champagne, but 4,500. Small forward, he looks like a better value option than most. Just put up a really good game. He had a double-double, 17 and 10, with 3 assists too. He is a 6'6 forward. He's an energy type of player. He's probably not going to get 10 rebounds every game, so I would warn about the rebounding upside, and especially when you're putting in Embiid, someone who's a very good defender, can basically change your entire offense. That's a little bit worrisome, but he is a very cheap option. They do have Yuta Watanabe out, so that could help with his minutes. Now, the Phillies side, we don't know how long Abita Harris are going to play, but that's going to take Drummond now to play. I don't really have too much interest in anyone else, so not really much to talk about Philly here until we do get word about what the minutes are going to be. Now, for the Heat side against the Rockets, so the Heat, they should have Jimmy Butler back in this one, and they didn't really play the main guys or the older vets a lot of minutes, like with PJ, Bam, and Lowry. They let the young guys go with like Hero, Max Strus. So probably we're gonna have to wait how Spo does the rotations, but I'm not too interested in the young guys because the Heat, these guys don't really have upside. Like we haven't seen Max Strus, like KZ Okpala have really big upside games. I think Yomar, your 7, is a very good prospect, but his minutes are the thing that's holding him back. Maybe they rest Bam or Lowry or Duncan or someone that's pretty established here, but until then, we don't know. We can't really go with anyone. Like if they do rest Bam, then your 7 is probably the best center play. I would take him over the Precious Achua even, just because of the matchup. And then Precious, you can still play him at the power forward spot, so it's not like you have to go either or. Now the Houston side, this is another very chalky slate for these Rockets. So I don't know why DK didn't price these guys up. Like Kevin Porter Jr., Jalen Green, they played massive minutes. They played 28 and 29, and they're just going to be very productive players. They are going to be a pretty high guard-oriented team along with Christian Wood. So they're going to have the ball a lot in their hands, and they look like to be pretty productive players. They can shoot, they will assist, they are athletic enough to rebound well. So I think you can play both of them together in the same lineup, and especially now they're not both only shooting guard eligible. So yeah, I like them both very much. And then someone else I'm going to, or Christian Wood, of course, AK just for raw points. But I want to talk about Sengun. So 4,800, he got into foul trouble last game, and he should have played more minutes, 15 minutes. Or 13 minutes. He's a really productive center. He had big games in summer league, so I would say if he's able to stay out of foul trouble, get more minutes, you can definitely look for close to a double-double. You can even get it if he plays like 16, 18 minutes there. So he's someone that could be loaned that you want to monitor, especially because this is the last game. If Christian Wood were to rest, then yeah, this is one of the better value options on the slate. So a lot of good big man value, but for right now, I would say the best plays you're going to have to be looking at Precious Achua for that power forward spot. 4,400, just way too cheap. And then Scotty Barnes looking really good. And then this Memphis Charlotte game, LaMelo looks pretty solid. I would say someone on the Hornets is going to have probably a good game because they're just all priced so well. And definitely Rockets. This is where you're going to want to go with. So Porter, Jalen Green, and then you're just going to wait about, or make sure you have the Rockets in the guard and util spots if you can. Obviously, you don't have to force it because if Porter Green they're your only point guards, then yeah, you got to play them there. But just remember, try to keep your guys lineups with max flexibility. That's how you're gonna do it. So I would say these are my 4 favorite plays as of now, looking at it the night before. But as always, make sure that you are up to date with the news. Make sure you follow on Twitter. Just follow all the beat reporters, or I'll try to quote tweet the lineups, rotations, what the coaches say as the reports come out. But yeah, it's a small game slate, 3 games, so You know, it should be pretty easy to manage. So if you guys enjoyed the video, as always, please leave a like before you go. Subscribe to the channel, follow me on my Twitter, WLin018, link will be in the description. And yeah, just as always, good luck on the slate, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.